Hey, okay, so traveling to the continent of Africa taught me this. Now, I've been to Africa multiple times. My first trip to Africa was in 2010. It was my mother's retirement trip. We went to South Africa. And on that trip, we did Johannesburg, we did Victoria Falls, absolutely gorgeous. We did Cape Town, and we did Nelspruit. So, and did a safari and all of that. But I'm gonna get to the safari in a second. But if you've been to South Africa let's put it like this. If you want to do a safari, South Africa is not where you go for a safari. If you want, just metropolitan feel, Johannesburg reminds me a lot of Chicago. So if you like, the metropolitan feel and vibe and city vibe, that's for sure Johannesburg. Victoria Falls is just breathtaking. It's absolutely breathtaking, which is in Zimbabwe. Victoria Falls is in Zimbabwe. And then Cape Town. If you've seen, I did a video a long time ago, years ago, about if I were to get married, what my favorite destinations would be. And it's on YouTube. Embarrassing, but it's on YouTube. It was so produced, and I was fresh out of corporate. Anyway, let me speed up. So, so that was my first trip, and I will never forget that on that trip, my mother and I spent some ridiculous amount of money on baggage. Like having too many bags, too much, and this was my first trip. South Africa was my first trip out of outside of North America. I had done cruises. I had been to Mexico, the Caribbean, but I had never went to another continent. So South Africa was my first trip to another continent. But so I didn't know. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. I didn't know. And this is the kind of stuff where having a very well-traveled travel professional, travel advisor by your side when you are, taking trips, doing family trips and things like that, and you're going places you've never been. This is the benefit of having a knowledgeable travel professional by your side, because I've been there, done that. 14, 15 years ago, So anyway, baggage. Now I'm gonna speed up this story. I'm not gonna go through all the African countries I've been to, all of that. I'm gonna speed it up. I'm gonna take you from my first trip, which was South Africa, 2010, to my last trip to the continent, which was Tanzania and Zanzibar this past summer. In June, end of June, July. So I'm gonna link the first trip to Africa and my most recent trip, and I've done trips in between. I've been to Egypt, Kenya. Okay, so I've been to other places in between, but now I'm gonna link first and last. Okay, Tanzania. I would have to look up how long the flight is from Atlanta. I don't remember how long the flight was. Let me just see. Tanzania. How long is a flight from Atlanta to Tanzania? Okay, so it's around a 20-hour flight. Okay, so for context, so we fly to Tanzania, 20-hour flight. Now, mind you, on that first trip, we pay a lot of money for overages and bags being too heavy, having too many bags. That was my first trip to another continent, and that was also the trip that taught me. So I learned on my first trip, international trip to another continent, I learned how to pack. Okay, that is the most essential things. I have to do a video on how to pack. How to pack is one of the most essential things, especially when you're traveling internationally. Okay, but anyway, so basically, okay. So that was learning how to pack was the first lesson I got. All right, here we go. Fast forward 20 hours on the flight, get to Tanzania, show up. The one time I decided to not, so because I learned how to pack so well, I normally will only travel with carry-ons. But this time I was like, okay, I'm gonna check a bag. We're going to the Serengeti, you know, I'm gonna have a bag, and you know, so I decided to check a bag. Get to the airport, standing there like a little kid waiting on their ride to come pick them up. Just all the bags passing by, everybody getting their bag and leaving, and I'm still standing there waiting. Okay, still standing there waiting. Everybody got their bag. Mind you, I'm traveling with my clients and my friends. Everybody gets their bag, and I don't have one. And so I was just as calm. It wasn't anything I could do, you know. So I waited a little longer. We checked a little bit, and then I went on and went to the baggage office. And one of my clients told me at the end of this trip, they were like, "You were just so calm." Like, they were like, there was no way they would have known that like half of that trip I did not have bags. And it taught me so much about just being in the moment. What would have been the purpose of getting upset, crying, showing out, whatever. Like, there would have been no point of any of that. Like, I literally went in that baggage claim office. I took a deep breath and I said, I am in Tanzania. Like, you are in Tanzania. Like, there's no reason to be upset or to be frustrated and I tell my clients this on pre-departure calls, because sometimes you land in a country, you might be in customs and immigration for 2 or 3 hours, and people get so frustrated and so upset, and the service is slow and this and this and this. Take a deep breath. You're in a whole nother, your physical body landed safely in a whole nother country. Like, enjoy that moment. Sit in that. Like, there's no reason to be upset. So I tell my clients things like that on our pre-departure calls. I say, you know, it might be a long way to immigration. Just be patient. Take some snacks. Take some water. Eat you some snacks, some water. Have some conversations. And next thing you know, the 3 hours will go by really, really fast. Like, when you're traveling, there's no need to, you know, have all that stress and frustration. Like, it's not that deep. So, traveling to Africa taught me how to properly pack on the front end. And on the back end, it taught me how to just enjoy life and enjoy an experience without one garment to my name. Like, I was literally borrowing clothes from my clients and washing them at the resort. Basically asking, you know, housekeeping, could they wash the stuff, and then putting it back on. I didn't get it was a 10, 12 day trip. I did not get my stuff until like day 6. Like, half the trip was over, and we were in the Serengeti. I will have to do a whole nother video on that. That was the most amazing experience I have ever had. I mean, it was hands down one of the best travel experiences I've ever had. So I'll do another video on that. But spending the night in the middle of the Serengeti, I will do multiple nights at a camp. I'll do another video on that. But hopefully, and I'll do a video on, I'll write this down so I don't forget. I'll also do a video on how to pack. Because my clients ask me all the time, the ones that we travel, clients that I've traveled with ask me all the time, like, how did you only pack that little bit for, duration? But like I said, Tanzania, I decided to check a bag and ended up with no bag. So, so if you're considering traveling to another continent, I've been to, between me and the advisors that have graduated from the academy, the Wanderlust Pros, we've been to every single continent. So, if you're thinking about traveling internationally next year, make sure you reach out to us, even if it's just for a consultation. Even if you want to plan your own travel, but you can still book a consultation and still get information and advice on, what things you need to consider, all of that. Like, just do a consultation. It's a paid consultation, but it will give you the information you needed to plan it yourself, to DIY it yourself, right? So, so hopefully that was helpful, and look forward to serving you all in the new year. And if I don't do any more lives, you all have an amazing holiday season and a happy new year. Bye.